Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 195, entitled Cooking Mama Drama. And my name is Steve, but I am joined also by Barry. Hey Barry, are you ready for some Cooking Mama Drama?
I'm always ready for some Cooking Mama Drama.
Nice. And we're also joined, as usual, by Greg, too. Greg, how about you? Ready for some Cooking Mama Drama?
Let's do this.
We're going to be talking a lot about.
It's a good story if we're going to be talking a lot about it.
This is an interesting story for sure. But before we jump into all of that, we do want to thank you guys for joining us for the NintendoFuse Podcast. And if this is your first time, we definitely want to thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Maybe some of you guys, this is the first time you're actually seeing us live. If you've never checked out our live show, we go live pretty much every other Tuesday. We'd love for you guys to join us in the chat room and discuss all the stuff that we're talking about right alongside us. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you haven't hit that bell on YouTube, be sure to do all those things and share this podcast with others who really enjoy Nintendo. We're here to talk about this stuff. We got a chat. The chat room's already blowing up with people saying hello Daniel, hello Jakester, hello Gabriel. So all the stuff that we talk about tonight, especially Cooking Mama, throw your thoughts down there in the chat. But as usual, before we get into the news and all that sort of stuff, let's talk about what we've been playing lately. And just to change things up, let's go to Greg first instead of Barry. Ooh,
oh my goodness!
Shaking it up tonight.
Shaking it
all
up.
Right. I get the first off the horn there. All right.
Go for it. Go.
So outside the normal dailies of Fire Emblem Heroes, and now quite possibly Animal Crossing is included in the dailies, but I think we'll probably be discussing more specifics about that at least later. But another game that I actually kind of re-dipped into due to interest from my daughter Belle, she's been really asking to play the Yoshi game, so I've been playing more Yoshi's Crafted World and having a blast. I mean, we're doing some levels together, and she's getting a little bit more hang of being able to jump and move at the same time. So it's been quite a lot of fun doing a little co-op, and there's other parts where she'll just be like, oh, I just want to watch you play, get a little bit farther. So I did gather the second gem. That's about how long it's been since I've played it, which was a very minimal amount. And we're on our way to get the third and fourth. Like, she was like, let's go get the pink gem tonight. And like, we'll see if we make it there. So it's like,
nice.
So that's what I've been playing these last 2 weeks.
Cool. How about you, Barry?
I have. Let's see. I finished the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. I did all 6 games, which is great because I didn't actually get to do them back in the day. But there's a new casual mode they added, as well as save assist, and it makes them worlds easier. So I was able to go through them. I had a blast. I went back to Panzer Dragoon Remake because there was an update, and they did fix some stuff, but it's still not perfect. But they did fix some stuff.
That was quick.
No, I mean, it was pretty universal. The controls, the lock-on is significantly better now, but it's still not 100% perfect. So I'm hoping they continue. Then I was thinking about what I wanted to do next. With this quarantine, I'm kind of going through some of my backlog, and I've decided to tackle some series. Especially series that I haven't tackled before. I figured that would be a unique spin. And I jumped off the Switch style there, and I went to the PS4 with the Life is Strange series from Square Enix. Because I've heard good things. I love visual novels. I love cinematic experiences. So I played through the first game. I played through Before the Storm. I played through Captain Spirit, and I'm now in Life is Strange 2. If you haven't played these games, they're cinematic, episodic adventures, all about consequences and choices. There's very little action. It's more just walking around investigating, and it's really been a tearjerker. I'll be honest. Like, I cried more, at least teared up more, definitely, in these games. And if you are interested in the series, I definitely do not recommend you actually start with Life is Strange 1 like I did. I did it in release order, but I actually recommend you do Before the Storm first, which is a prequel, then do Life is Strange 1, and then if there's a farewell episode and Before the Storm, do that one last.
Okay.
And they don't take long. I'm saying each episode is maybe 3 to 4 hours tops. So you kind of get it in a clip because it's like watching a TV show. And my wife actually sat next to me and watched for most of the playthrough and got invested in it too. So it's kind of cool. It's like multiple people can play at the same time. I've done Animal Crossing, of course, which I'm sure we'll talk a little more about. But I'm kind of falling into the daily stuff of Animal Crossing at this point. It's lost its luster for me, so to speak. It's still a great game. And I think I might get it a little bit back when the Nook Brothers upgrade and I can actually get more furniture and like the sets that I'm used to, because I'm tired of using cardboard boxes.
Yeah, put everything in a cardboard box.
I used the green set ever since Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and I'd like my green set. And I hope that comes back. But now on the mobile front, I've of course done Dragalia Lost and Mario Kart Tour. However, this pandemic has pretty much killed Pokemon Go for me, despite everything that they've done. It's I was just barely doing daily stuff in that just to keep it going, but I haven't really touched it, and I think this might be the thing that kills it for me, which I'm not crying about. I needed something to break me from that game. And of course I'm still playing Final Fantasy XIV, which has also now been hit with this whole Corona thing with delay on updates, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's been kind of busy.
Nice. Yeah. This whole virus stuff is, as we've been talking about the last couple episodes, it's definitely been, opening the doors for more gamers to spend more time if we're all stuck at home. But of course, Animal Crossing, Rocket League, Jackbox, my regular ones that I'm kind of my go-tos during all this. But yeah, I think the other game that I jumped to is not Xenoblade. Sorry, Barry. I actually went back to a game that I hadn't played in a while, praised it when it first came out, even I think gave it a nod in Game of Awards or Game of Year awards, but then I kind of forgot about it and let it sit there, and that's Celeste. Back to Celeste a little bit, and I had forgotten how difficult that game is, and realized that I had not actually progressed nearly as far as I thought I had. Is I think the last time I kind of got to that point where it was like, this is frustrating. And one thing that Celeste has is you gain abilities as you go, but you also learn how to use those abilities, and I'd totally forgotten everything that I learned since the last time I played it because it had been so long. And so I got to a certain point and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of trying to figure this out on my own. There's no way. I keep getting stuck. So I went online and tried to see if I could find a walkthrough of a certain level, and they kept crawling on the walls. I'm like, what? I don't have that ability. I've looked at the menu, no control layout, nothing. I'm like, I don't have that ability. And then it finally took me pushing pretty much every button, and then realized, nope, I do have that ability. I just forgot that you're supposed to hold down ZR or R button, either one, I think, to actually hold on to the walls and crawl up them. Totally forgot about that ability, and from that point on, I was able to progress through the level. Still died a ton of times, but it's the difficulty in Celeste is always like, give me one more shot. I got this. I was so close. Let's do this again. I totally got this. And so it's that level where it's not too difficult, where it pushes people away, but there's definitely a challenge in there. I think if it's probably very similar to how people would really like Super Meat Boy, things like games like that are like, oh, if only I was just a little more precise, I could have got that. And Celeste is definitely that. And there's a really cool story, and I love the music behind it and everything too. So So yeah, it's I had some good fun with that. So yeah.
That's very
Yeah,
interesting you said that because the last day of the library, my wife picked up Celeste because she was like, "Oh, I have all these Switch games here. Does anyone want me to bring home for this potential like long-term quarantine?" And then I selected Celeste because I remember hearing lots of good stuff about it, and so then it's still just sitting there waiting to be played because I pretty much started playing Animal Crossing, and that's took the bulk of the time initially. But now that I'm more down to just some small times of dailies in it, I might be able to pop that in when I get a chance.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool that your library had a limited run physical release in there. I mean, it was in Best Buy too, but still, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was more because like they got this like new video game person on board, and then he was like, "Oh, they can like order games from like limited runs like sites," and I'm like, "That's a good idea. However, you should definitely be careful in case like there's like some potential theft, as it could become a collector's item." So.
Not as much because what they're doing, like they limited run the early stuff, absolutely. But with the Switch, what they did is they did a 2-week pre-order period for all their releases, and now because of the COVID thing, they're actually doing a 4-week period. So it's not so much about value right now because if you want it, you can get it. You have now 4 weeks to purchase it. So these games are going to have larger runs than their original ones that sold out within seconds. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't think theft is that big. And like titles like Celeste got Best Buy releases because a certain limited run gets in Best Buy. But that's awesome. See, there's a title that was a digital-only title that now was in the library. You were able to take it out, and other people were able to take it out. And if companies like Limited Run didn't exist, that would be a case. So now that the developers of Celeste actually got a brand new audience just in that one library, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely come a long way. So
Yeah, I was
trying.
Go on.
Yeah, I do like give my opinions. Like, oh, you definitely should be ordering like Pokemon Sword and Shield. You should definitely be ordering Luigi's Mansion and like Animal Crossing. Like I even like said like you guys ordered Animal Crossing, right? But they haven't been open since it came out, so it's probably just sitting in a box waiting to get barcoded and everything. So
Yeah, I was reading in the chat, and it reminded me there was one other thing I did do, which I don't know if you guys have gotten to, and Greg, I hope you get a chance to at least. The Bravely Default 2 demo came out, so I got a chance to do that, and it's hard, especially at the start, but it is a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it. So I don't know if you've given it a shot. I don't know if you played the originals, but I definitely recommend giving it. Just trying it. I mean, it's a free demo.
I beat both of them and really loved it. I don't think I got like the greatest ending or whatever, but I know I did get like one of the reasonable endings, and I just haven't played the demo. I downloaded it the day they announced that it came out, but it's still waiting
really
to be
good.
played.
In fact, on the Playcast, we just did the demo, and one of our co-hosts didn't think he was even going to touch it and wound up putting like 7 to 8 hours into it, just getting
just in the demo.
Just in the demo. Nice. Because there's like super bosses, and there's really a lot extra. You beat the demo, they give you extra stuff to do if you want. It's all optional, but I mean, you can get 6 to 8 hours out of a free demo is pretty damn good. That's more than some games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's so many demos that I have on my system that I've downloaded, and I was like, yeah, and then I forget about them. So at some point, probably during this quarantine, I'll go back and actually play a lot of those demos.
Yeah, I definitely did want to give this one a shot because that's Bravely Default is definitely one of my more favorite up-and-coming series. So
nice.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Let's go to the chat. Looks like they've been talking a lot about games they've been playing. Jakester's been playing mainly Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, and Digimon. Daniel Smith's been playing mostly his My Friend Pedro. So I have not actually touched that game. Have you guys played that one?
It literally just came in the mail today.
Did it really? Okay. I feel like it's been out for a while. Was it on another system?
No, it's been on the Switch for a while. It was a digital-only title.
Oh, okay.
But the physical just came out from Special Reserve Games. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've not played that. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, but haven't given it a shot yet.
Gotcha. Looks like Some people are talking about your daughter, Greg. So they're saying hi. So
Yeah,
she snuck in there.
she like saw this video on my wife's phone, and she's like, "You gotta see this is totally funny." And then she realized I was like on the camera, and then she poked her head over closer to mine.
That's great. Jakester's also getting the Trials of Mana remake for his birthday, so that's exciting. And I didn't the Trials collection and stuff like that. There's like a special deal in there. Like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the details?
I believe it is if you purchase the Trials of Mana, like you pre-order Trials of Mana digitally, you can then get the Collection of Mana for 70% off right now.
Okay. Cool.
Which is awesome. If you want digital, it's well worth it. Both of those games are must-have in my opinion.
That's cool. Yeah. So it looks like Jakester said he also tried the demo for Code Vein and really didn't like it. So,
I've heard good things about that game.
yeah. Well, I think that's the cool thing. We've talked about this before, but I love when the developers do put out the demos, so you can try it, because some people are going to really like it and some people aren't. It's cool to get a few hours, or at least maybe even just 20 minutes into a demo, so you can at least have a good idea of what the game might be like. So
I still miss the demo discs though.
Oh, those demo discs. Yeah. So before we jump into this Cooking Mama drama, I wanted to check in first of all and see how you guys were doing with Animal Crossing, since we talked a lot about it last week, or not 2 weeks ago. But any updates, thoughts? I mean, we had Bunny Day. Was this past Sunday? So how's everything going for you guys? It seems like you're both getting to the time where you're more like just the daily check-ins and not really a ton to do right now. Is that pretty much the case where you guys both are?
I'll let you go first.
Oh, thanks. I think so. As someone unfamiliar with the series, I don't really know what's been upcoming. I mean, I still have like the loan on my first room, and I know you can get like up to like 5 other rooms on top of it. I'm sure it's increasing in cost. It just seems like money is like incredibly hard to gather very, very quickly. I built one incline, and I have a second incline currently in progress. Still about like another 100K left on that one before it's paid off. I completed all the extra plots you can get for the KK concert, and so the last residents are just moving in now. I think there's one that's going to be moving in tomorrow, Nana, and then there's another one that still has to sell, which I guess automatically sells like tomorrow. So yeah, I had a label stop by my town today. So I did like a fashion thing for her, and I don't know if she's going to get a shop at some point. And I've just been redeeming miles for little doodads to put around the island and buying clothes as I like them. And seeing I saw there was like some Power Ranger like outfits, and I sent one to Hassan. So.
Oh, so you sent? See, I sent one to him too, but you send me a coral, and you sent him an outfit.
You sent me was starfish or sea something or whatever. Man, I see who your favorite is.
Well, I thought of him when it looked like a Power Rangers outfit.
So he sees coral and he thinks of me.
Yeah, he saw the starfish
coral
or
pink
whatever.
Berry, you know.
Sand dollars. That's what it was. Sand dollars.
Yeah.
I was just trying to like send something because it was just like Easter, and like I never got anything from Steve before, so. And then he sent me a recipe card of something I already had. So
yeah, I already had it too, so I sent it back.
I'm sure the sand dollars are worth more than the card that I got. If you want to be specific.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I'll get Nook miles if I send something, so I'll send it back too.
Yeah, I saw there was like a the award chat or the award. I like to call them achievements, but there's like achievements for sending mail. So I was like, oh geez, I'm gonna have to be like sending stuff like every day now or something.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, I didn't know if you guys like what kind of stuff you'd want. I mean, I can send clothes, and I know like Barry already graciously gave me the Animal Crossing Switch, but I don't know what I can get for like probably like 30,000 bells that I could give him in return.
No, don't worry about it. It was just funny when I'm like, oh, a letter from Greg. Oh, and a present. Oh, I wonder
Coral.
what he got me. Oh, Coral. Thanks,
Well, it's-
Greg.
It was like I was just looking at my inventory. It didn't let me send bugs or anything, so I was
Nah,
like, I'm like, I guess get a shell because you can't get a bug. I was gonna send you a stink bug. I thought that'd be funny, but
wow. Wow. I didn't think I can go lower than the Coral, but then you did it. You lowered that bar.
That's
yeah, it was
awesome.
just more being fun. I thought it'd be funny, so I thought you'd get a kick out of it. But apparently, you can't send bugs and stuff. Right?
No, you can't. Bugs and fish, you actually have to catch yourself because it's not like it's, oh, well, you've been having trouble catching a wasp and I catch a wasp. Let me help you for your museum. Can't do that. You got it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm like the wasp expert now. I've been catching so many of those darn things. Like every time I shake trees, I always have the bug net out. So it's like, I'm like, just got to run back for 2 seconds and then turn around and hit the button and catches it like every
You
time.
don't even have to do that. It's simple.
Yeah, no, it's more just to get like prepared and ready to go.
You don't even have
to.
All you have to do is face the tree like dead center with your net out, shake it. If the wasp nest falls left or right, whatever, your character automatically turns and like, oh my god, shock, and just hit the button and you just instantly swing and catch them instantly. And you also get Nook miles for catching 5 in a row without getting stung.
Yeah.
Really, I should be over 5, and I don't think I saw that.
Thing.
Interesting.
But
Does it
yeah,
have to be like 5 in a day, or because like?
maybe in a day. But yeah, because I think there's 5 nests in a day, and I think you have to.
Oh, maybe I'm like missing a tree or two, and like I only find like 4 of them throughout the day.
Yeah, I definitely haven't gone to the extent of shaking every tree every day and everything. That's just too much for me now. Yeah.
I cut down a lot of the trees, so it's like it's not too bad. Like I know
Nice.
it's like
That's one way of doing it.
Well, I mean, there's always the goal of trying to get a 5-star island, which I don't know if you have. I've checked like videos on YouTube. It's like some people are just so creative, and I'm nowhere near that. Like even my wife is like, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that on my island," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just checking in the daily stuff. I'm checking like turnip prices, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fill out my museum. It's one of those things where I'm mainly just doing it daily, just as upkeep." Because I'm waiting for like May, and when May hits, there's gonna be new insects and new fish, and then I've got to go collect them. So I'll be playing at the beginning of the month, and it's gonna come a time when it pops out of the Switch, especially when Trials of Mana comes out. But that's it. My wife is more into it right now, and I've paid off everything. I've got my town. I'm happy where my town is. It's not the most ideal setup, but it's my setup. I like it, and that's just it. I got the villagers I like, so.
I'll never like it because they won't let me do the things I want to do.
Well, you do when you get KK. Once you get KK there, you can terraform and you can make your island whatever you want.
Well, no, because it won't let me put like buildings next to each other. Like, oh, you need to leave space to go around the building, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not how I want it. I want them next to each other, so then they're like all grouped together.
Well,
I
you
don't,
can put it
I don't
really
want like
close together.
I don't want like one building here and then like 10 feet over, and then here's the next one over. Like, I want to like make a street. Like, here's the shop here, here's the shop here, here's the shop here. Like, one street. Like, it doesn't let me do that.
Even if you go into a real street, there's spaces in between a lot of buildings, unless you're talking like a strip mall. So these are like standalones. There's little spaces in between.
Yeah. I think I kind of approach it very similar to you guys too. Is like very casual sort of thing. Like I've never been one to like make my island just perfect or whatever. I make it good enough where I'm happy with it, and then the cool thing is, I think now we can go and visit those people who put hours and hours and hours into making 5-star islands, and I can go enjoy theirs, and then I'll go back to mine and just do what I need to do there, because I don't have the time to make that a 5-star island. But I'll appreciate other people's.
I really hope they just add a feature like they did in the 3DS, where if you see something on someone else's island that you want, you could just pay right there and order one for your island, and then you can order as many as you want. Because there's so many cool ideas I've seen, and I'm like, I've never seen those pieces. When did they ever get those? How did you get those pieces? Especially with the DIY recipes, like everyone gets different ones. I mean, sometimes you get duplicates. My island, I actually have a spot just with DIY recipes that are like freebies. They're like, anyone who comes over, you can take whatever you want, just because I have so many extras. But like it was earlier today or yesterday, last night maybe, my wife got a pitfall seed. I didn't even know pitfalls were in this. I'm like, oh, cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet.
And that's awesome. But you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And I think that's half the fun, and that's part of the longevity of it all. But it's still, I just want furniture.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of cardboard boxes. I want the furniture sets. I want to be able to really decorate the way I want to decorate. And I know some people have time traveled and their Nook brothers are upgraded, but I think it takes like 29 days or something like that. And I'm patiently going. I'm not time traveling. So I just have to be patient and wait, and maybe then we'll help rejuvenate a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure. I just need to get the star fragments because I haven't seen a meteor shower yet. I also haven't played too many times at night, so there's not really been too many opportunities that I could have seen one. But when I do, maybe I'll end up when I farm them with your trick with the rubber band and everything.
Oh yeah. Well, no, do you have those controllers, the Demon X Machina controllers?
No, but I have a couple others that have the auto
Turbo?
button. Yeah, turbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
we actually got a second one in because my wife liked it so much. She was like, I want one too.
Nice.
Yeah, I might have to consider getting that. I mean, I've only seen one meteor shower, so like it was pretty constant the one day, and then the other day I saw there was like a few, and then I got like 6, but then that was it. Like,
But it's nice
like,
to just put it down, go to sleep.
yeah, I built that Ares rocking horse thing or something because I got a recipe for it.
Nice.
Cool. We'll probably do some check-ins every once in a while, at least for not every once in a while, but probably over the next several podcasts, just because we'll keep progressing and everything. It's definitely a game that we're going to continue to play as the months go on. But let's get into.
I was going to say one quick thing. I did notice a major bug in the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and other people have reported this too. So this is more like a warning. If you go to someone else's island, or they come to you, if you're playing online with other people, it apparently doesn't save until you leave. So my wife had Celeste, so I went over to her island, talked with her, got a recipe. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to start looking for some meteor showers. And my wife was playing portably and felt it was a little too loud, so went to turn it down, but accidentally hit the power button, which disconnected the server. It actually disconnected the connection, which sent me back to my island, and all the stuff I'd given her was back in my inventory. All the stuff she had given me was back in her inventory. And when I went back over there, I talked to Celeste, and it was like, oh, didn't give me another recipe. Like, that counted, so I don't get it when I got gypped out of it. And I was like, that's really a problem. And other people have reported being over at their friends' islands for like 30 minutes, an hour, working together, and then they got disconnected and lost all that progress. So that is a pretty big thing.
Wow. So yeah, they need to come up with some way to save while you're over there.
Yeah, the game autosaves all the time. Why not there? Because that is huge, especially right now, where that is a lot of people's way of visiting. So if you go and visit anyone's island, keep in mind that is not going to save unless you leave the island and it specifically says saving game. And normally it's not as big of a deal, but again, like, I lost out on a recipe because the NPC counted as me talking, even though I don't have that recipe anymore, and that data was saved. Like that is a problem.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah.
One of the things I hope they also fix is the stick and crafting thing. Like, I hate how I'll catch like 6 of those clams, and then I have to sit there and watch that stupid animation like 6 times.
Yeah, that's
it will say like, I have 6 of them. I can actually just be able to make 6 of them right now. Like,
that'd be nice.
I hope they add that.
Yeah,
or
that'd
even
be
something. Or even like the upgraded tools, like I don't have to craft like the flimsy axe. I should be able to just like, I want the actual axe.
Bump right out.
Where's the flimsy axe? And I have enough materials for the flimsy axe. So
yeah. If you could mass create or craft would be great, especially people like me who just saved up your eggs and decided to craft everything on Sunday, like me. And that was a lot of click, hold down the A button, click, hold down the A button, click, hold down the A button, over and over and over and over and over again, till I got all the bunny stuff crafted. So yeah, it would have been nice to just click them all. I have all the material, just craft them all at the same time.
Yeah.
At least you can hold down A to make it a little faster, but still.
Oh, I tap it rapidly.
Or tap it, yeah. Either way, yeah.
I think if you press B, it like skips most of the. It puts all the text on there, and then you can like hit A to like.
Which is kind of annoying. I don't know if you guys this nitpicking the game now, but like to make the text faster is B, but to make the crafting faster is A. And like so, I'm just like, hitting the B. Oh, that doesn't work. Hit over A, and then I have selecting something that I'm not supposed to.
Forth.
Yeah.
Just A, B, A, B, A, like that.
Yeah.
Just like super fast.
Like, yeah. Oh boy, but yeah, let's move on. Because there's a lot of drama around Cooking Mama to talk about tonight. So here's what we're going to do. I don't know if any of you guys have not been following. I'll just run down quickly what's been going on with Cooking Mama Cookstar. Cooking Mama Cookstar, and there it is right there, the infamous game that's caused all this drama. So a lot of the information that I am running down through is actually comes from a Digital Trends article. They had a really good summary of the whole thing. So just shout out to Digital Trends because that's where I'm grabbing a lot of this information from. So make sure to go head over to their site to find out more information about all this and read more about it. But here's what has been going on with this game. So IGN did a piece on this game, was it like a week ago, I think, and I posted on our Discord, and I was like, hey, Barry, you got this game? Because it looks like it's went missing all of a sudden. So the game starts disappearing. Rumors go around about it being some sort of cover for a huge cryptocurrency blockchain thing that is going to be able to hack your system and make a bunch of cryptocurrency, and then the official Twitter for the game clarified that the accusations were not true, but they had merely looked into the technology to put it in the game, possibly for trading in-game assets, but never implemented it. And then there were claims about the game causing switches to overheat, but then they were proven false. But the game does seem to drain battery a lot quicker than it should, possibly due to the game's engine that's being used. Rumors about there's also rumors about audio files being ripped from YouTube that are used in the game. Finally, the developer said that there is a legal battle between the publisher, Planet Entertainment, and the owner of Cooking Mama's, who is the owner of Cooking Mama's rights, which is Office Create. So Office Create, the owner of the rights, wanted to hold off on publishing the game until it could get more polished by the developers, who are first playable. Those are developers of the game. But Planet Entertainment published it anyway. Office Create then had it taken down from the eShop and blocked all the advertising. So that's why it's hard to find any advertising about the game. And then Planet Entertainment is now planning to launch a full lawsuit against Office Create over all this lost money. So that's kind of where the game stands. Barry's got a copy of it.
Yes.
In fact, you said you had 2 copies of it. Is that right?
No, I only
okay.
have one.
Oh, just one.
But yeah, they even stated that they wanted to cancel the game, not just more polish, either more polish or just cancel it completely.
Yeah.
And I believe they are selling. Planet Entertainment is selling it themselves right now. I think you can go to their website, you can buy it. And last I saw, there was some on eBay, which was being sold for retail from the same town that the Planet Entertainment's from. So people speculate it's them selling it on eBay themselves, not gouging or anything, but retail. But yeah, there's only a matter of time before something happens with this game. I know collectors have speculated this is going to be the new holy grail of the Switch, to oh my god, this is not a holy grail at all. Back and forth, this game is going to be worth having, this game is terrible. It's crazy to think that of all of games that could have this type of thing, it's Cooking Mama,
Right.
which is a series that has been regularly on the Nintendo. The PS4 version never came out. Like, we don't know what's happening with the PS4 version. That could be vaporware at this point. Uh, this whole thing is ridiculous. When at first when I thought it was cryptocurrency, I'm like, really? Like, I could see this kid like, oh, I'm just gonna play Cooking Mama. Meanwhile, it's like mining them money and stuff. It's like ridiculous. Why hide this? In any type of game. Let's do it a kids game. Reminds me of when mobile games first started. I don't know if you remember. I think there was a Smurfs game, and like parents started suing the company because like kids were spending thousands upon thousands of dollars in microtransactions on this thing because this was like the early days and no one had any protection on any of this. And oh yeah, I'll just keep buying. I don't care. The kids didn't know. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, this whole thing is bonkers. I do not think this game is getting any updates. I don't think it's going to get polished. I think this is just going to drag on for a bit and then just be tossed away and forgotten, and maybe a new Cooking Mama, or this could be the end of this franchise completely for all we know.
That's true. Yeah, Greg, do you know much about Cooking Mama, and if like is this a franchise that you're familiar with?
A little bit. My wife had the DS one. Like, I think I got it for her on the Nintendo DS because still has it actually. I haven't really played it like since, so like I'm sure it's come a little bit longer way from there, and obviously got a lot more features and expansions and stuff. So like I do know like a little bit like about the series though.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting thought. I mean, after all this, going through, I do want to jump to what you said, Barry, like what the future of this franchise is. I mean, is this a big enough black mark against this franchise for it to just stop and the Office Create just says no more, we're killing it, and that's done? Or could there be still a future out there for Cooking Mama?
I think there's a future for it. I mean, like I said, they were thinking about even shelving it, like completely, meaning that it didn't meet their quality standards. But if they shelved it and they planned on making a new game or a new version of this game, that's gone. That's gone. That's not happening anymore. They would wait. I would think they would wait for all this to blow over and people to forget about it before they even look at the franchise again. And these developers who made this, I think this was their first game, and one of the reasons it drains the battery is it's not optimized for the Switch. It's programmed poorly, and it was never refined. It was never touched up. It was rushed to market. So it's really almost a broken code that's out there. And with the digital version gone and no updates, this is the only way to play the game. This is one of those cases where it is a physical only game. If you had downloaded it for that short brief time, you could have it digitally, but I think very few people did. But yeah, this is one of those cases where this might be a physical only title.
Yeah, that's true. Greg, do you think, I mean, what I just want to know your general thoughts about this, Greg, because like this is crazy, right? Like, would you have ever expected something like this to happen?
Not at all. Like, I thought this was a pretty solid series. I mean, I've done the Nintendo download for quite a long time and always seen like, oh, here's a new Cooking Mama game on 3DS, and here's one on Wii, here's one on Wii U. It's like, seems like it's been like a long-standing series with several entries, just like a Call of Duty like game, just obviously not the same kind of market. And then it seems like it was finally coming to Switch, and this is just like so weird that it's happening to a game like this and not something else. But
yeah,
I guess that what happens when you have new people working on the game. Maybe they don't have the best coding practices and standards up to date, and so yeah, I mean,
one of the things that
nice if it gets a re-release, because I'm sure there's people that probably were looking forward to it and now they won't be able to get it. But and just in case anyone's curious, live right now, I see there's still like 5 copies left on Amazon if you want one.
Nice. Yeah, I think that the interesting thing that hits me out of all this is that we know that Nintendo has been pretty I don't know what the right word is, stingy about some of the games that they put on the eShop and some of the games that they will okay to be on their system. And I know that there's some quality games from some amazing indie developers that they've turned down. And then all of a sudden this one passes, which apparently was not right, was not ready to pass and shouldn't have been on there to start with. It's a huge battery drain, wasn't optimized for the Switch, and they okayed it. And then all this stuff goes down. Like, I don't know, Barry, do you get any insights or thoughts around that sort of thing? Like, why would they even let this get on the system?
That bothers me more than I thought it would, and I think that's because of all these years of going to like Play NYC. I've talked with so many great and talented indie developers, and well, a lot of them have their games on the Switch or games coming to the Switch. There have been a few of them that have had some stellar titles, and I said, this is perfect for the Switch, and they said Nintendo refused us. And some that actually had the permission to do Wii U and 3DS titles, then they were denied the Switch. And it was like, why? Like, this doesn't make sense. This game is perfect for the Switch audience. And then this gets through there. And that was their biggest argument, was how could this have cryptocurrency if Nintendo and Sony, it wasn't just Nintendo, it was Sony as well, also said, hey, it's okay to put this on the PS4. It's just the PS4 version didn't come out. It just wasn't. I don't know if it was printed and just never released, or they never even got the printing down, or they didn't release the digital version. I don't know. It's like vaporware. But we do know that Sony also approved the ROM of this game for the PlayStation 4, much like Nintendo approved it for the Switch. So it's both companies are at fault here. Both companies let this go through, and that's pretty big because they're two giants. And I mean, I can't even fathom this whole thing. This whole thing feels fake. It really does. It's like when I started reading, I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, this can't be real. And the poor developers are like destroyed. Like they have this tarnished reputation at this point, and people will not want to even look at them again. If they said, hey, we're putting out another game, what publisher is going to want to touch them? Oh, well, not one, you made your first game and it wasn't optimized. Then you were supposed to polish it or cancel it, and instead you went with the publisher, because they went along with the publisher to publish the title when the owners of the IP said no. What other publisher wants to go with them, or what other IP holder will say, yeah, we're going to trust you with your IP? I mean, we see all these horror stories, and obviously Nintendo has been so close-knit with their IPs, and we've always said, we wish they would lend them out more. And then stories like this come out, and it's like, well, should they? Or should they keep them closer to their chest?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, coming from a software perspective, it's probably some sort of like product manager's choice that like went through with this. It wasn't like the actual people that wrote the code on it. Maybe they had no idea on like the level of it, and then I think it would be on that person that like was able to make the decision to say, okay, go ahead and let's push this to the publisher, and boom, it's out. It's probably more on that person than the actual people that wrote the actual code. But
it's a small team, so it's
Right.
still
I know.
still tarnishes.
Yeah, it's still the entire team, and the actual decision is made on the person that actually made that decision is the one that probably will have very trouble getting a lot of future work to go against. Like,
well, I know like the developers actually tweeted out, and they were like, this is hurting us. Now, especially all the bad press with when the cryptocurrency was out there. They were like, no, we didn't do that. And, like, please, like it almost became slander at that point. It really became like the whole internet unanimously grabbed onto these rumors, because they were rumors, and immediately took them as fact. And the poor developers were just like, hey, no, don't believe everything you read. We don't know how to do that. We barely knew how to program the code to run on the Switch, and it's not optimized. You think we know how to make a cryptocurrency miner in there?
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's the unfortunate thing. They may be just great developers, and they may just made a bad decision to go with the publisher, and maybe they didn't really even have much of a say in the whole thing. I mean, a lot of times the publisher is just going to rule the whole thing. They're the ones making the decision, and they just got pulled under when they shouldn't have, and that's really too bad for them, because it maybe was a great game. I really like the concept. I think it's a great idea for a modern Cooking Mama game to try to capitalize on the whole like YouTuber thing and a food blogger and all those sort of things. But yeah, I unfortunately, people like Barry who was lucky enough to get a physical copy are probably the only ones that could have the opportunity to play it. Are you going to play it, Barry?
I am not going to play it. No time. But I'm curious if you guys are, after all this, are going to pick this up in case this does disappear and it never does come out again and the price doesn't increase, and just the story. Like for me as a collector, I love games with stories. I bought games that I have no interest in just because it was an interesting story behind it. I find that to be one of the more fascinating parts of game collecting. And this one most certainly has an interesting story behind it. Mm-hmm. So you guys going to pick it up?
I don't know. Yeah, I would. Like I said, I did have it open on Amazon. It's saying it's like $57.62. I don't know what retail actually was, but
yeah, I know the developers actually had it up on their site, but I know there's a Switch. Wow. Yeah, there's $49.99 is retail. There's one up. There's one up on eBay. $49.99 free shipping. That is the last one they've sold out. All other ones are 60 plus. But there is one up there, and that I believe, and it sold. It sold a lot. That one sold 2,244 sold from that. So that was the one in Minnesota. So that is the owner of the developers or the publishers. I'm not sure which, but think about that. They had 2,244 copies that did not get to stores that they were able to sell on eBay, and there's one left from them.
Wow.
Yeah, the only reason I would pick it up is to potentially have it just for like a item to like resell like way down the line, because it's only like there's only so many copies out there, so it's like a.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's one of those that has a story, and for me, that's where it's one for me to keep. Mm-hmm. It's not something I would play, especially not if it's optimized and it's going to drain my battery. Mm-hmm. But I've also heard, some people didn't like it, and I've also heard some people did enjoy it. So, I mean, there's I'm not going to say there's not fun to be had. It's just I never played any other Cooking Mama games. I own them, but I just never played them. But this is just, it's one of those where, who knows, they could release an optimized version. The publisher can say, yeah, we talked with the developer, we settled out of court, we've gone back and patched it up, and we're re-releasing it, the optimized, enhanced version. In which case, all first prints, will have a little bit more value at that point. And that's what I'm hoping. I hope it does get a second chance with an enhanced version, or or at least an optimized version. But yeah, it's just one of those things where no one can say. So if you buy it at $50 and you want to buy it as a potential investment or a potential collectible, the worst you can lose is $50. The best you can get is the sky's the limit. No one knows, what anything's going to be worth. But if you do look statistically at the more expensive games, there's usually a story behind it. Stadium events, the most valuable NES game out there, unless you count sticker sealed kind of things. The only reason that's worth so much is because Nintendo bought the rights, pulled it from shelves, and re-released it as World Class Track Meet, which is a $2 game. Same game, but Stadium Events is worth $10,000 because there's so few out there and there's a story behind it. I'm not saying this is going to get anywhere close to that, and it most likely will not, so don't quote me on that. I'm just saying statistically, when there's a story and there's a controversy, that's when things go up. And of course, scarcity and demand. I mean, NBA Elite 11 is another prime example. EA pulled that game, but Amazon sends some copies out. Good luck finding a copy right now. They exist, but you're going to pay a lot of money for them.
Yeah. I think it's, that's just one of those things. I think, you as a collector and wanting to get the whole set, those are those benefits that you get when you've already pre-ordered them. Already get those things. It's like the back in the day when I used to like as a lot of kids when they were younger collected baseball cards and stuff.
Yep.
And so you get I got several whole box sets that are untouched, that are still in the plastic, all wrapped up and everything. And when you buy all of them, you do sometimes get some gems in there that are going to be worth a whole lot of money. Someone's rookie card that you never know what's going to happen to it. And meanwhile, you get some other, amazing games that you get to just sit there and enjoy. And then you get some really horrible games that will sit on your shelf as well. So you get to go with the bad.
There's some joy to the horrible games. I mean, playing them with friends and just laughing at how bad they are. There is an inherent joy to it. But you're right, and that is something that a lot of people don't realize, especially with pre-orders. Again, I mentioned NBA Elite 11. The only reason we have copies out there are Amazon sent it out to pre-orders. And had I been a big basketball fan and I pre-ordered it, I would have been very happy. But I wasn't, and I'm not, and I didn't, and I'm kicking myself because that's a $3,000 game right now.
Wow.
So it's one of those. Wow, I never thought a sports game. I should have. But no one knows. It's impossible to know. It's impossible to tell the future.
Yep.
And even this, I had it pre-ordered simply because I'm going for the full set.
Mm-hmm.
Had I not been going for the full set, I personally probably would purchase it right now because there's a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because I love games with stories like that, like outside stories, and controversy. Controversy is just, it's fun to just talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Zelda Ocarina of Time Gold Cart. There's controversy behind that cartridge. There's differences between that and other versions of Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never talked about outside stories, but what did you think of Bowser's inside story?
But it was the worst selling 3DS game out there.
Oh boy. Yeah, I never would have seen this coming. Especially it's tempting. I think I'm probably not going to buy it at like $60. And because $60-$70 or whatever, because we have a podcast going on right now, I'm not going to drop what I have and go to eBay and buy the one copy left. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to stay away from it, but it is tempting, especially because of that story, to be able to go, hey, you want to know a cool story about this game? Years down the road. Let me tell you what happened with this particular Cooking Mama game. And to be able to tell people who, maybe were younger at the time or didn't even know about it. So.
And that's it. I mean, and for all we know, even the seller, 11 have sold in the last 24 hours. They might have more. They might just be putting 12 up at a time. We don't know how many more they really do have.
That's true.
Because, again, first off, there's another factor to this story, is the coronavirus. Mm. So retailers right now are closed or just doing like curbside pickup, but a lot of the shipments aren't prioritized. So a lot of retailers aren't getting their stuff on top of this. Because mine came from, I think, Amazon. But because of that, they're now kind of selling them, and they're selling them more underhanded until they get shut down. Like, what if this lawsuit goes and says no, cease and desist? They have to, by law, stop selling them. So they're, especially like through eBay, you can tell they're pretty much just like quickly, let's get out, because they're not getting. They put the time and money into developing the game. They're not getting any of that return back because the retailers are closed. So it's like a Murphy's Law in this game, really.
Yeah, it's just a multifaceted thing that I never would have expected from this, and I didn't even think about the whole implications from all the coronavirus stuff and everything that's been going on, affecting retailers and everything else. It's just another layer that's on top of everything else that's going on with this game. So. Wow. Yeah. So, let us know in the chat or the comments later. We'd love to know if you were able to pick up Cooking Mama Cookstar, if you're planning on grabbing it, all those different things, what you think about this insane story surrounding a Switch game. We'd love to know what you guys think about all that. Any final thoughts about Cooking Mama Cookstar before we move on to some other news things? Let's see.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre thing.
Yeah, the perfect word to sum it up.
Yeah. For sure. Well, yeah, another drop that just happened on us, kind of like the Nintendo Direct, the mini Direct, things like that. Nintendo just was it yesterday or today? I think it was yesterday. They dropped firmware version 10.0 for Nintendo Switch, which means folders and themes, right? Right, that's what it means. Yeah.
That would be nice.
No, not
that
folders
just means
and
normal
themes.
quality improvements.
Quality improve. There's a little bit more than quality improvements, but basically, yeah, it's quality of life improvements, even for a big 10.0 update. So essentially, what we got going on is that now we get a bookmark feature for news. Okay. We also have the ability to move software and data between the system and the micro SD card, which is insane that wasn't already a thing. We also get Animal Crossing New Horizons user icons, which is cool, I guess. We can also, this is a big thing, change your controller's mapping. The button mapping, which I don't think I would ever see Nintendo ever doing that, but now you can change the controller's button mapping. And they also included some quote-unquote additional adjustments for more pleasant user experiences. So that's basically the quality of life improvements and stuff like that. Greg, let's go to you first. What do you think about these updates? Anything that is really standing out to you, or were you just kind of like, about this thing?
It was mostly like, but I was gonna say like, welcome to 2011. Like,
right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Wii U and the Switch had launched with like this kind of basic stuff. It's like they've always allowed us to switch the data between the like SD cards and the actual like internal like memory. The bookmark thing, like, okay, like that should have been a thing at launch. Like, why wouldn't you like want to bookmark things? How about the Mario Maker bookmark site? How about you work on that instead?
Yeah.
But yeah, like more icons, sure. I mean, I don't really change it around too much, but yeah, I can understand why they'd want to have new Animal Crossing ones, as the game's really hot right now. So yeah, and the button mapping thing definitely came out of nowhere. Like, normally the games usually only certain games support like to change around the controls as you see fit, but now that's like at the system level. So I definitely know there's people that complain like, oh, I wish this button did this instead or whatever, and now you're able to kind of do that with pretty much all games now. So
yeah,
I think that's definitely the winner here, and I'm surprised it even took this long to get something like that. I mean, options are always good, never a hindrance. You should always be able to play the game you want to play. If you don't like using trigger buttons, you shouldn't have to be. If you don't like using motion controls, you shouldn't have to use those either. Like, there should be proper buttons to do everything. So that's definitely the most welcomed piece, and I'm normally fine with the default controls, but so I mean, it's still nice for people out there that do like to change those things around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Barry, what's your general thoughts about this update?
I mean, the controller mapping is by far the best feature. I remember when we all reviewed Luigi's Mansion 3, and our biggest fault was the lack of inversion. And how can Nintendo release a game that you can't customize the controls? And boy, I didn't expect them to just say, we're going to do it right to the whole system. I didn't check that. Does it allow inversions of the analog stick at all, or is it just buttons?
I think it's just button reassignment. I think, or disabling.
Close.
So one of the cool things is you can disable buttons. So for instance, like on the Joy-Con, when the one that has, which is the left one that has the capture button right there, you can actually disable that one, and so you don't have a bunch of screenshots over and over again.
Well, I mean, it's so close and yet so far.
Yeah.
That's the Nintendo thing to do. We're gonna give you something, but we're just gonna come short of delivering completely. I think inversion should just be a standard in any type of 3D game, because people play games differently.
Yeah.
And you can get used to a game a certain way, and if you're used to a game where the right analog for camera is inverted, and then you are forced to play a game where it's non-inverted with the camera, you're like, for me, that makes me dizzy just because I'm trying to turn it the way I'm used to, and it's going spinning all over. I'm like, oh my god, and it's going to take me some time to adjust. And then if I go back to the other game, forget about it.
Right.
I mean, as of now, it's hard enough going from the Switch to the PS4, where the A button is accept on the Switch, but the X button is accept on the PS4.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, hold on, everything is flipped around.
Or the Xbox when A and B is switched. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard jumping between systems.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other things are cool. Bookmarks for news is great, I guess, if you don't have the internet or don't use the internet for news. And new icons, that makes sense. Be nice to see some more series represented, but whatever. I haven't changed my icon since I got my Switch on launch day.
Yep.
But yeah, I would like to see folders. I would like to see the ability to see your entire play history since this started. 100%. I think that is so stupid that you can't go back and just kind of look at a timeline since you've had the console.
Well, now you can delete your play history.
Yay. You can delete. That's for kids to be like, oh, Mom, look, I've only played Breath of the Wild for like 2 hours, you see? Yeah, I don't want to delete my history. I want to see my history, and that the fact that it's there and the fact that the system saves it, it's just like neener. I got it, but I'm not telling you, and that's so stupid. Especially when the 3DS had the play log, and it told you what your most played games were, and I gave you all these stats, and it was so cool. Why are we going backwards on the Switch? We shouldn't be going backwards when a system in 2011 had this feature.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Yeah. And the whole what was the other thing that they added with this?
The data switching over.
Yeah, the data transfer.
Yeah.
That should be a given.
Yeah.
When my Wii with my digital titles broke and Nintendo held those games at ransom for $40 after I knocked them down from $80, that's when I was like, goodbye digital, because that is BS. If you buy a game, they should not be able to hold it ransom, and that's kind of the same thing now. Nintendo still locks things to your system, and you got to be able to transfer. It's 2020. Come on.
Yeah.
You went with SD cards, which is a step above Sony and their proprietary cards, but it's about time you let us actually access them.
Yeah. Like Jakester said in the chat, even the Wii U had it. I think he's probably talking about the activity log, I think, as well. But I think you could also transfer data from the system to the SD card in there as well. And so, like, why are those things? When I saw that in the rundown of the firmware update, it was like, wait, wasn't that a thing already? Like, I
had it too.
Yeah, I did.
A lot of my titles were on the SD card.
It's crazy. But at least we have it now. Icons, like you guys, I haven't changed my icon in a long time, and I prefer the me icon. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer the me one because I want it to look like me. And so I picked it when I first started, and that's what it stayed at. That was it.
Yeah, I've been kind of changing it around. I've changed it around like every 6-8 months or something like that. It's like, if I'm playing Zelda, I'll leave the Zelda icon up. If I'm playing like Mario, I'll change to a Mario icon. I mean, I do really like the Splatoon ones, despite not really playing that one a lot. But I thought those looked really cool, and I had that one for a while. I recently changed it back to a Zelda one. So, when I'm looking at like online friends and their play histories, then I kind of like, maybe it's time to change my icon. And plus, before I created the account for my daughter for Animal Crossing, like she was like, pick Princess Peach as your icon. I'm like, I don't really want that one. So I'll create your account and setting it to Princess Peach.
There you go. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, because I know people will still update. I think the biggest thing for me is like I don't know if when I think of a 10.0 update, I feel like it should be bigger than this. Like, why shouldn't this just be 9.7 or 9.8 or whatever they were on at the time? Like, why? Like, I want the big system update for version 10. The controller mapping is probably, I mean, all the rest of them are things that just should have happened. The controller mapping, I think, is the most interesting thing to me for sure. Just like you guys have said, like. But it's interesting, I think, still for me because I never saw Nintendo really doing that at a system level. I don't think they ever have before. At least I don't remember them ever doing that. So that's kind of interesting. I think it's really cool for accessibility. I think that's going to be a huge game changer for some people that just have disabilities or whatever, and now they're going to be able to play games that before they weren't able to for whatever reason. That they can remap buttons and stuff like that. And then there's going to be certain people that really prefer it a different way, and they're going to be able to play a game better because of that. I think some games are going to be changed for speedrunning and stuff like that. It's going to be able to affect different ways that people do speedruns. Even I know for Breath of the Wild, to be able to run and jump at the same time, it was kind of tough because it was the X and the B button. But if you want to remap that run button to something else, or the jump button or whatever, now all of a sudden it's easier to hit that. And so you may be able to actually make it through certain spots faster than you would before. Things like that are really cool. I think my big thing on the NES Online, all the NES games, like I want to use Y and B for running and jumping and stuff instead of A and B, because the layout is different, and so now being able to switch that is cool. But here's
you have to remember to switch it back.
Right. Here's the thing. Like, I like you can do presets, which is cool. You have like 5 different options for presets, but they're not game specific. And that's what I would have preferred. I want to change my mapping for NES Online only and say this is the mapping that I want for this game specifically. And then when I'm out of that game, change it back to default. But not being able to do that is...
Steve, you need to buy the Nintendo NES controller Joy-Cons.
Right.
And you don't have that problem.
Right. That's probably why Nintendo hasn't done it. They're like, you know what? This is really just this. Your solution, Steve, is just to buy our product. That's how it's going to be done.
I do have the NES Joy-Cons, and the Super Nintendo ones just came, I think, since the last podcast, so I finally had ordered it and got it.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want you to give them more money.
That's true, but I would prefer it to be game specific, because I think that's the thing, especially if you're going to control change like A and B or something like that, and the next thing you know, you're like backing out of menus instead of advancing through menus, and it just throws the whole thing off. So it's cool that they have it. I think I probably won't be changing much in games. I'll probably change it. Maybe I'll set up just one of my controllers to play when I play NES Online, and I'll just like designate that specific one as my NES Online one, or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if I'll really be changing it up much. I'm sure it's gonna be fun to try different games and seeing now can I play I don't know Smash Brothers with just one Joy-Con and do everything I want to do before, if I remap certain buttons and things that I want to do. I don't know. It'd be fun to play around with, but I don't see myself using it long term. I think this is more of an accessibility sort of thing.
I believe Smash Brothers already had the option for the controller stuff, though.
You do, but it's not like full. Like there's certain things.
I think maybe I'm thinking of the Wii U one where it was like pretty much full like reassignment.
Yeah.
I haven't really played tons of Ultimate, so I don't really know.
Nice. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, as of right now, it's just for the Joy-Cons and Pro controllers. It'd be interesting to see if they eventually do allow you to use it with third-party controllers and even like was the Wii remotes and nunchucks, if you connected in the adapters and stuff like that, would be interesting to be able to play. That's what I'm going to do. Smash Brothers with just a nunchuck. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, it'd be really, really interesting. But yeah, I think it's cool for all that stuff. I just don't know. I mean, like, when I look across all these features, I'm like, that's just so little for a 10.0 update. But I don't know. I guess I'm happy they're still making improvements. I just wish it was more. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on, because was it last week, I believe, we found out that a couple different things. First of all, we found out just maybe a couple days ago that Nintendo is continuing to make these deals with people to use their IP, and now we have them making a deal with Levi's. and we're going to be able to see a bunch of Levi's clothing, so like shirts and bags and hats and all that sort of thing. And they're going to have Mario and Luigi and Yoshi and all those different things you can buy, from T-shirts that have the characters on the chest, to bags, to jackets that are just covered in Nintendo characters. A whole bunch of stuff that they're going to be putting out. I think you can actually start buying that right away. Some of the stuff is coming soon. Some of the clothing is available right away on Levi's website. So yeah, just this short little story, news story, but it is a thing, and just wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on this. Is there anything that really excites you about this sort of deal? Are you gonna buy a Levi's and Super Mario bandana so that you can have that as your mask? I don't know. Like, as you go to the grocery store, rock the Mario bandana. Yeah, what do you think about this partnership, Barry?
I think the best thing about this partnership is it's showing Nintendo is willing to let other companies handle their IPs again, which was a huge thing in the 80s, and that stopped after the Super Mario movie. And a lot of kids growing up, didn't get Nintendo clothes as much, or Nintendo little party favorite drink glasses, or Nintendo cereal, and like all this other stuff. Like, they were everywhere, and it was awesome. And to see them slowly opening up again is a wonderful thing. Will I be rushing out? No. If I saw them on sale, probably. I think they're, I have enough. I have a whole closet full of shirts already. Do I really need more? In fact, we're doing this whole Marie Kondo thing where we're turning all our shirt hangers backwards, and we're going to go through a year and see, every time we wear one, we put it forwards and see how many shirts, we don't actually wear in that year. So, yeah, it'd be one of those. I don't need any more clothes right now. But I do think if this is something you like, or you want some gaming shirts, and you haven't, can't go to Hot Topic right now, or Uniqlo, because they had a deal with Uniqlo too. It's just great to see more deals, and the more Nintendo puts their IP out there in the public's view, the more they will be recognized. And a T-shirt, if you noticed on all of those shirts and stuff that you scrolled through on the catalog, not only did it have Nintendo characters, but Levi's was prominent in every single one. Mm-hmm. Levi's knows, because if you're wearing a Levi's shirt and it says Levi's, you are a walking billboard. You are an advertisement for Levi's at that point. And if someone sees you wearing it, goes, oh, that's cool, I know where to get that, I'm going to go buy it. And it's the same when you're wearing a gaming shirt. Someone walks down the street and you see it, like, oh, Mario, yeah, cool, okay. And even if you don't know the character, you see it enough, it's like, well, I recognize it. Mm-hmm. And there was a time in the 80s where Mario was more recognized than Mickey Mouse. I don't think that is the way it is today, but maybe we can get back there. So I think it's awesome. And if it's something you're looking for and you see something you like, I say support it so that Nintendo keeps doing it. But I personally won't be touching that stuff unless it's on sale down the road.
Nice. Yeah. Greg, speaking of Marie Kondo, does the Levi and Super Mario deal spark joy for you?
No, not as much. So.
As much.
Yeah. I'm with Barry. It's great for like brand recognition and people that go out for that stuff. But I'm definitely not one to get too much of like gaming clothes. I'm perfectly content with like normal shirts. I don't need like jeans and stuff with it. So. Yeah, I don't need to go like all out with like bandanas and hats. I don't really wear hats, and like, so. Yeah,
same here. I think there's some of the shirts and stuff that looks cool. I'm not the type of person that to wear the jackets and the clothes that have like all the characters on it. I think it's fun. That's not my sort of style, I guess. Some of the shirts are fun shirts, and and I wouldn't be opposed to having one, but yeah, I think like you guys said too, I'm not going to go out of my way to get them. If someone wants to get one for me, cool. If my parents usually buy me some sort of Nintendo related shirt for Christmas, cool. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way. But I am happy that they're doing these partnerships. Is pretty cool. And speaking of those partnerships, we found out a little bit more about the Lego Super Mario deal, and so so we found out that there are also going to be some expansion sets that are going to be coming to the Lego Super Mario sets. So in addition to the basic starter set, there's also going to be a Piranha Plant set, and also a Bowser's Castle boss battle. And overall, it's going to launch at the 1st of August, and pre-orders went live, but they are already sold out. So they've already stopped pre-orders, and they're no longer available, at least through the Lego site. I don't know about any like Amazon or Walmart or something like that, but I know through the Lego site they're already sold out of all the pre-orders because of the demand was so high. So the whole set's going to be the starter set's going to be $60. We found out, and available at the beginning of August. It doesn't seem like the coronavirus stuff is going to halt that, but who knows? Everything is kind of up in the air lately with all that stuff. So as of now, they're still holding on to the 1st of August. Greg, are you any more excited about the Lego sets now that we know a little more about them?
Yeah, they do seem pretty intriguing. My daughter's still getting really into like Legos, so I might end up thinking about getting like one of them if I can get my hands on them, because I didn't pre-order it. I don't know. I feel like the Bowser one is a little bit more on the expensive side, but the starter one is pretty much the cost of the game, so it's pretty fair price there. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, and hopefully we'll get a chance to play around with it. But I'll see if I can locate one once it's available.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Jakester says that he thinks the Bowser's Castle is awesome. I don't know. Personally, I was expecting more from Bowser's Castle. I wanted a actual big castle. Like I want to be able to build it. I think I've talked about this before, like in another episode, where I want to Millennium Falcon style Bowser's Castle. That's what I want to build, and the 50,000 pieces or whatever. That's what I want to see. Barry, these expansion sets and things like that, does it change your mind about the Lego sets?
It's one of those things where I'm really happy to see it sell out, and I'm really happy to see again Nintendo do this. And this is not what I was expecting when I heard Lego Super Mario, but it is the very Nintendo way to do Legos. So in that sense, it doesn't surprise me. I did not pre-order them. My wife and I have been debating getting them. We both grew up with Legos. They've been a very important part of our childhood. If we had kids, it would be no question. We would have been pre-ordered instantly. Without kids right now, I fear that if I had them, they would remain like my Labo sets, unused. Not because I have no interest, but simply because of the space with it all constructed, how much it takes. Takes up, and then you would have to disassemble it and then put it back together. And right now, space is a commodity that I need more of. So I personally chose to pass at this time. I'm not saying down the road I won't get any sets or I won't get all of them. I don't know, but I think it's great to see this demand. I think they're novel, but they're also juvenile at the same sense. Like you said, if it was a Bowser's Castle where you can build everything and actual Lego scale, like something like Hogwarts they made, but Bowser's Castle, that I would have been all over instantly. That's just awesome. I know you mentioned Bowser's Castle is expensive. Lego sets are expensive. I remember when the Star Wars Lego sets first came out way back in the day, As a kid, I'm like, I'm gonna get all of these, like yeah. And we went to Toys R Us, and I was like, oh, they have the X-wing and the TIE Fighter, and I don't know how many people remember those, but they were like $200 back in like the early '90s, which is a lot of money. And those things were huge. I mean, those things put together were amazing, and the X-wing worked with the wings, and it was fantastic. And they're worth a lot more now, those early ones, but that's kind of what I was expecting. If you're gonna pay that much, I want the real intricacies of it. Yeah. And this has a lot more working parts. I mean, the whole mechanics and the power-ups, and it's fantastic. But it's not what I personally think of. And I think it almost, I hate to say this, it almost feels like the Lego icon shouldn't be there, and it should say Duplo instead. And I know that kind of degrades it and it makes it lower, but it kind of feels more like a Duplo set, and especially with the advertising of the kids of that age playing with it, it doesn't feel as hip or new or cool as it could be, as a Lego set should be. That's just my personal take.
Well, it's interesting to hear that they've been working on this. It seems like it's been in development for 4 years as well, which does. I mean, the intricacies of the Mario character itself. It's got the screen on the front. It's got the accelerometers built in. All those different things is cool, but for 4 years, like, I don't know. Do you guys think, like, will they eventually come out with the full scale? Like, I want to build Peach's castle. I want to build Bowser's castle. I want a full scale those kind of things. Like, maybe like if I could build like the Super Mario or Super Nintendo World, amusement park in my bedroom. That's what I want to do. Like, that's the Lego sets that I want. Greg, do you think they're going to come out with that, or do you think they're going to stop with this sort of thing?
It's kind of hard to say. I would like to think that they might be pushed more to go with those bigger sets, but I don't know. It seems like they're trying to do like that, almost like the Nintendo Labo approach, where it's kind of like more like a game and has the cool sound effects and very interactive to like be more like an actual toy. Whereas I think a lot of those other sets, like that we've talked about, like Star Wars and even other ones that I would have loved to have, but I thought they were expensive, like the Simpsons house or the Disney Magic Kingdom castle. But those would probably more likely just be a sit, because it's usually the person buying it more thinks it's like a collector's thing and would rather just have it more for display and not actively playing with it, and this like the normal other sets that they sell. So I don't know. So it's kind of, that's where I kind of see that catch-22. Like, this is more encouraging you to play with it because it makes cool sounds as you jump on the different enemies and makes a sound with like the flagpole and like Bowser's fire and everything. So I do see like they do like that play aspect of it, but I don't know if they would dip into the collector side just to kind of construct it and have it more for like a display thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
What I want to know is if you look at, and I know this is all part of Mario's 35th anniversary, the Levi As thing and the Lego thing, but when looking at it, it kind of makes me think back to the Jakks Pacific characters, the figures. The series was the World of Nintendo figures, and if you remember that set. And I said remember because the set still exists, but it doesn't exist the same way anymore. In fact, I think it's just the Super Mario has a line and the Zelda has a line. But with the World of Nintendo, you had Mario characters and you had Zelda characters, but you also had Star Fox characters. You had Pikmin characters. You had Donkey Kong characters. You had Splatoon characters. You had all these characters from different franchises. And that was cool. That was literally the World of Nintendo. And now it just feels like we're back to Mario. And I love Mario. I love the Mario games. I will always love the Mario games. But, with Smash Brothers, there's so many icons and there's so many Nintendo IP. And the World of Nintendo line, which again is now degraded to just 2 lines, was so cool because we got to see these characters we never would have had gotten normally. Kind of like Amiibo. A lot of Amiibo figures Who thought we would ever get Fire Emblem figures or Xenoblade figures? But now we got Amiibo for it. But now we had Splatoon, we had Inkling and different Inklings and boy and girl, and we had the whole Star Fox crew in like 4-inch figures. Like, that is awesome. This feels like a step backwards. And I know, again, it's Mario's 35th anniversary, and I could forgive it for that reason. So I want to see them expand on this and not, here's another Mario set, here's another Mario set. I want to see more Lego Nintendo characters. I want to see Levi's shirts with more Nintendo characters. I want to bring these characters. I mean, look at Animal Crossing is selling like crazy, and that was another one. World of Nintendo had like Villager and KK, so where Animal Crossing was even represented in that toy set. Like, put the Animal Crossing characters on there. Put the Splatoon characters. Put the Zelda. Put Xenoblade. Put Fire Emblem. Put all these characters. Star Fox, F-Zero. Put freaking Mike Jones from Star Tropics on there. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's embrace the literal world of Nintendo, and not just Mario. Because if it continues with just Mario, Nintendo's learned nothing. Especially right now with Animal Crossing selling like hotcakes. I mean, come on, capitalize.
That's what we need is an Animal Crossing Lego set. Just build your own island in real life.
Come on, that would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm interested to see where all these partnerships continue to go. I mean, I don't, Levi is not necessarily something that came completely out of left field. That makes sense. Clothing and all that stuff. They've done sort of these things before. A partnership with Lego is really cool. But where would they go next? Like, what? Let's go to Speculation Town. People love it when we do that. Greg, what company would you like to see Nintendo partner with next? Where is that crossover would you like to happen? Yeah.
Well, if we're going full crazy, I'd love to see something with like Mickey.
I knew it was coming. I knew Disney was going to play in there.
I would love to see something with like Mario and Mickey, whether it's like some sort of like joint like venture game or even like some sort of like movie or TV show would be great too. So I'd be all for something like that. I would love to see that happen someday.
Nice. Barry, how about you? Where do you want him to go next?
Yours feels more likely than mine, and I might be chastised for this, but Microsoft. I would love. I thought Sony, but you know what? I'd love to see Nintendo characters reunited with the Rare characters, and that can only happen with Microsoft. And especially with like Cuphead and Ori now being on the Switch, that would be really cool to see some kind of joint game with all those characters, some kind of adventure game with Nintendo characters and with Rare characters and Microsoft characters. Even though like I'm not a big Halo guy or a Gears guy, but still like they're part of gaming history. Like embrace it. Or even a trifecta with Sony, kind of like a Project Cross Zone where it was Namco and Capcom and Sega, but like something like that. But Nintendo, Sega, Sony, or Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and throw Sega in there too. Like that would just be amazing. Nice. I think that would just be cool, but not an Olympics. It has to be like an adventure game and some kind of grandiose thing, or even a movie. Yeah, like a Wreck-It Ralph, but with just those characters.
Yeah.
Nothing original.
That'd be cool.
Because Wreck-It Ralph can't use real Nintendo characters outside of Bowser in the first one because God forbid.
Well, they decided to go with the whole internet thing the second time and lost the supposed Mario story that was there, and whatever. I personally, I'd like to see a partnership with Apple. I want a Mario or a Zelda branded iPhone. Like, just think about with like the Hylian shield like embedded on the back of your iPhone. Like, it goes right along with the Link wallpaper I already got. I want a really, really cool, like subtle, like Triforce on there, something like that. That'd be really awesome.
I'm sure you can engrave it or get like a case with that.
Yeah, but I want an official thing.
You get a case.
No case. Like this product is beautiful. I don't want to put a case over it. Like.
I have a case on my iPhone. I don't care.
Yeah, it's your funeral when it breaks.
I got insurance. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I would. Again, not gonna happen, but it'd be cool.
You watched the keynote where they announced Super Mario Run, right? There, that was your Nintendo Apple moment.
That was
right
it. Was
there.
done right there. Spiked.
Hey, it already happened. You gotta raise the bar a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I want the hardware. The hardware is on it.
You're asking for a Nintendo phone. Did you learn nothing from the N-Gage? It's not gonna.
Well,
happen.
I want Apple to produce it though. Like, it's already good, but. Oh man! All right. Well, before we jump into our closing thoughts and all those sort of things, I want to thank all of you guys for joining us in the chat tonight live. Thanks for listening after the fact as well. If you have not subscribed, be sure to do that. If you've not shared this with other Nintendo fans that you know, be sure to do that as well. Follow us on social media. Join our Discord. We love chatting with you guys between episodes and all that. But yeah, let's talk about this. Our next podcast is going to be recorded live on April 28th, so in just a couple weeks. But between now and then, what other games are we looking forward to? There are some notable games on the list this next time. One of the games that stood out to me was Double Dragon 2. It's coming out on April 16th, just a couple days away, but that's already available on NES Online, so that's interesting that they're bringing that out as a standalone title for like $4.99 in America. Trials of Mana comes out on April 24th, and Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto comes out on April 24th as well. What are you guys excited about playing over the next couple weeks? I'll go to you first, Barry.
Well, I plan to definitely finish Life is Strange 2. And my next big game I'm looking forward to going to is Trials of Mana on the 24th. So 10 days away. I really hope it comes out. Hope I get that physical. In between those, I'll probably look for something shorter. And I know that this week for the Playcast, we are doing the Mega Man Zero ZX games. But we're doing a game called Wonderling for the following week, which is a digital-only title. So I will be playing that, and I'm looking forward to that because I've heard nothing but good things about it. And that's mainly what I'm going for. But who knows? Anything can, pop in or anything can change.
Nice. How about you, Greg?
I'm kind of looking into the Trials of Mana that I might actually end up picking that up. I do like RPG games, but I don't know if
Did you play the demo?
I did not.
The demo carries over and saves. So.
It usually always does, doesn't it? It's like I feel like you say that every podcast.
They're doing a lot more, which is great.
Well, Bravely Default 2 doesn't.
Well, that's because they're still looking for feedback on that game.
Yeah.
That's why I was more interested to try that demo, because apparently they could... Anyways, that's a different subject. I am kind of surprised about Double Dragon 2 since it is on the thing, but I know there are people that are super anal about getting the Nintendo subscription for Nintendo Online. So, I mean, you could obviously buy it and you can still play it, but then again, it kind of raises the question, like, how well will it sell if for those of us that do have the subscription service. So, I guess if you don't mind it like lapsing or getting rid of it, then yeah, that'd be the way to go to still play that one. But it could be a sign of other things to come with other companies that have their games included on it, and like, hey, I could be making $5 every time somebody wants to buy my game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I probably won't get that one just because obviously I have it on Nintendo Online and I have no plans to stop maintaining that for the foreseeable future. So, I mean, I've already paid up through September of this year, and I'll probably be renewing it again for the following year. So,
it's kind of funny, that whole Double Dragon 2 thing, because I don't know if you know, there's a collection, I think it's Kuro Kuro versus the World. It's in Asia, and it's a bunch of like the River City series and Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3. And that game, which was Asia and Japan exclusive, is coming to America and Europe, I believe, digital only maybe, or it might get a physical. I'm not sure when it's coming, but that includes Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3 in it, as well as all like the River City games and some that never came here. So it's that, I understand if that was the only other way to play it besides the Nintendo Switch Online, but it seems kind of weird just to pay $5 for Double Dragon 2 when it's coming in a full collection, or you could purchase the Asian collection right now and get all of those plus all the River City games all in one package.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the game page on Nintendo's website, it looks like it's the graphic for that collection, because it's got a lot of the River City games in the back as well. And it's got even like Dodgeball, but it's got River City Ransom. It's got a whole bunch of those are the games, but also like Double Dragon 3 is in that list
for the
too.
Collection.
So I'm like, it is interesting that they would bring that one out on its own. It's a bizarre thing for sure.
Yeah, Double Dragon 1's in that image too, because it's on the collection.
Yeah, and
that's the better way to go, because River City Ransom is an awesome game, and you get the 3 Double Dragons all together right there, plus Super Dodgeball and a bunch of other titles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just makes more sense.
Yeah, it's odd for sure. But I think as far as all those games, I'm going back and forth about Trials. I really want to play Trials of Mana, so I'll play the demo for sure. Especially since it does transfer over, so might as well. And that's cool that I can get a little bit of time with the game without actually spending any money. And then we'll see. The good thing one of the good things about this whole coronavirus stuff going on is that we do get a little bit more time to play games. So maybe I could actually sink some time into an RPG like that, where normal.
Or you can finish Torn Up.
I was waiting for it.
No, let's just play Trials of Mana instead. We'll see. But
you have 10 days till Trials of Mana comes out.
Yeah.
That demo will only take you like 2 hours.
You still got to beat the bunker too, Steve.
Oh no, that game has already been reviewed. It's bad. That's our review. But yeah, I'm really playing. I'm excited about jumping back into Celeste a little more and try to make it at least through one more or two of those levels. It's a game that I really enjoy, but I want to take it a little bit slower because I don't want to get all really frustrated at the difficulty level of it. And maybe I might eventually finish Torna just to make Barry happy. We'll see.
I hope you do, and then I hope you go on to Xenoblade 2.
I think that's the lowest of priorities on Steve's list.
I was really tempted, so I walked by my Wii U the other day because it's set up in our bedroom, and I looked at it and I go, I could boot that thing back up and finish up Xenoblade X. Like, I could do that. Yeah.
That would be acceptable. But you still have to do Torna afterwards.
I got so much more time in Xenoblade X left than I do in Torna, though. So
you're really close to Torna.
At least I'm into exciting things still for X. Like in Torna, I'm just down to the stupid side quests that annoy the crap out of me.
You don't have to do all of them. You just have to do some of them.
I have to do enough of them. I still don't like that you have to. How was I even able to progress that far without doing them? I should have done it little by little.
You're supposed to do side quests as you go along.
But it let me keep on progressing, so I just kept on passing them up, thinking, "Great, I don't have to do them in this game. Awesome."
Because they want you to feel for these characters. It's important that you feel for these characters.
And then they should have forced it upon me earlier on. Oh. That's what all I'm saying. But anyway, so we're going to be back with another episode on April 28th. We'll see if I make any progress on Torna before then. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, thanks Barry and Greg for being here with me as we wrap up episode 195, getting closer and closer to 200 here on the NintendoFuse Podcast. Any parting thoughts, Barry?
Just stay safe, wash your hands, limit going outside, wear masks, and hopefully, you stay inside and enjoy playing video games and play some great ones, and tell us about them next, in 2 weeks when we come back. Let us know what you played, or if you're in our Discord, let us know what you're playing.
Yeah, For sure. Greg, anything as we close out?
Yeah, keep your social distancing on Animal Crossing. So
Yeah.
make sure to stay away from those neighbors that are kind of get a little too close sometimes. They come running up to you without their masks on. It's kind of scary.
Says the person who wants to put the houses literally next to each other.
I said the stores. I didn't say the actual house at this.
That's hilarious. I finally had to build my filled in my fence around my house because I was annoyed that Zucker kept getting in my flower garden. Like, stop it, leave it alone. I know you're watering my flowers, but I don't want you to buy my stuff. Leave it. Fenced it off.
Yeah. See, I just used that shovel and took all those flowers and moved them somewhere else. So now my pool is fenced in.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks again for being here with us, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.
See you later.
Have a great one.